This is my 100% honest review of the most recent update, and it might be a little controversial. I've seen lots of positive reactions to Starr Drops. I've also seen lots of negative feedback on them, and I've always promised you guys I'm gonna be 100% honest with all of my thoughts every single update. So let's talk about everything wrong with Starr Drops and why I think they should stay. Stick around to the end where I'll rate the update from 1 to 10, and I think my rating might surprise you. But first, I wanted to give a big thank you to Watcher of Realms for sponsoring this video. Click the link below to download now. Watcher of Realms has over 100 unique heroes that you can add to your party and then fight all kinds of monsters as you make your way through dungeons and challenging levels in the campaign. The rich variety of heroes and background stories of Watcher of Realms also brings tons of different maps and storylines. And depending on the monsters you're facing and the level you're on, it actually requires a lot of strategic decision making to choose which hero to use and how to position your party because some synergize better than others. With a never-ending supply of treasures to discover and new combinations to try and combat, you're always gonna have options. You can even try forging top-tier artifacts and engage in PvP with other real players. And if 1v1 battles aren't enough, you can experience the excitement and thrill brought by the Tide. In the Tide mode, a large number of monsters surge towards your castle. You can even team up with guild partners to challenge the epic dragon and rush to the top of guild rankings. Not to mention these incredible looking graphics. I also really like that you don't have to constantly stare at your phone and during battles. You can actually use the auto battle feature to complete dungeons and daily tasks. Now, Watcher of Realms is currently hosting a team competition event featuring 2 top YouTube creators. And you actually have a chance to win insane prizes like an iPhone, a Switch, Xbox, even lots of in-game rewards. So click on the event page link in the description and choose a team to join. And while you're at it, click the download link as well to be one of the first people to play this great new game. Once again, a huge thank you to Watcher of Realms for sponsoring this video. Let's start off by covering the progression redistribution. And what I mean by redistribution is the fact that they nerfed the end of season bonus rewards along with Club League rewards, and they redistributed those resources and put them into Starr Drops. Now, a lot of people are thinking that progression was nerfed with these changes. Trust me, I've ran the numbers. They were just moved from one place to the other. And actually then they did buff the amount of golden power points that we get in Starr Drops. So progression is technically buffed. It's not just redistributed, but let's talk about the redistribution. According to my calculations, the buff range is around 2% if you are super hyper active, up to 35% for anyone who wasn't very active and only played a little bit each day, right? And when I say super hyper active, I mean this person never misses any tokens. They complete all of their quests. They're in a Masters League, Club League, and get first every single time, like super hyper active, okay? By my calculations, most players will just progress like about 18% faster than they did before, okay? Way better than 2%. And that's assuming that they are just as active after the update as they were before the update. 18%, that actually sounds really good. However, even with an overall progression buff, the redistribution of resources does have some negative consequences that we need to talk about. Some things you need to be aware of here. My calculations do take star powers and gadgets into the account. So if you get a star power from a legendary Starr Drop, that is the equivalent of 2,000 coins in my calculation, because the Starr Drop does save you 2,000 coins along your journey towards an actual maxed out account. The same is true for gadgets at a value of 1,000 coins, okay? The problem is though, you don't get to choose which gadget and which star power you actually get from the Starr Drop, okay? It might be a star power for a brawler that's not very good in the meta, or for a brawler that you don't like playing, or it might be a star power that's just not good because guess what? They're not all 100% balanced. It also might just be a fine star power, but there's another one that you already have that's just way better and you're never gonna play the one that you get, okay? In fact, that can actually happen when you do have other brawlers that don't have any star powers at all, okay? The truth is, not all star powers are actually equal depending on the meta and which brawlers you have them on. And because of that, it ultimately depends on what you consider to be a maxed out brawler. For example, let's look at Poco here on my free to play account. He has 1 gadget, he has 1 star power, and he has 2 gears. Is this brawler actually maxed out? I mean, kind of, because when I go into an actual match, I'm gonna have just as much power as another Poco who looks like this, which is my main account that has 2 gadgets and 2 star powers and all of the gears. If having a max brawler looks like this on my free to play account, then guess what? Starr Drops could be really annoying depending on which abilities you get. But if having a max brawler means both gadgets, both star powers, and all gears, then honestly, the progression buff is just good overall. And Starr Drops are actually really great because you will get this 20% faster. For me personally, who has both a main account that has every single ability in the game and a free to play account, which doesn't, I really like the freedom on my main account because I switch the gadgets and star powers all the time depending on the situation and the balance and everything like that. However, on my free to play account, it's going to be a very long long time before I'm going to get more than just one gadget, one star power on all of my brawlers. So getting star powers and gadgets that I likely won't use from Starr Drops is going to feel very annoying. In fact, I'd rather just get 1,000 coins or 2,000 coins instead, just so I can just buy the ability that I want personally. So temporarily, while I'm still progressing, Starr Drops can be annoying because I might not get the ability that I want. But in the long run, it's an overall just win for most players. In fact, all players, because even for me, it's just going to be a 2% buff. But most players can be like 18% faster to max out your account, which that's insanely good. And honestly, my free-to-play account is on the extreme range when it comes to progression. I almost never miss any tokens or other free-to-play progression at all. And I'm in a Masters League club who gets first place almost every single time. I literally make it my job every single day to never miss progression because it's actually my job, right? And that means that this progression buff for me is way smaller than most players. But the reason why I complain about this is because for me, the total time to progress all the way to max is only 2% faster, which is hardly anything. And along the way, I have way less freedom to choose gadgets and star powers that I want because gold was taken from Club League and the end of season bonus rewards and put into Starr Drops, which give me random options, right? So 2% faster for way less choice along the way and just some frustration. So personally for me, the trade-off doesn't feel worth it. With that said, most players will progress about 20% faster, which would actually feel like a good trade-off. So like overall, for progression redistribution, Starr Drops don't really feel like they're made for me. But I'm really glad that they're in the game because they're really good for most players. Now, if Brawl Stars were willing to make one small change about star powers and gadgets, I could really get behind them though. All they'd have to do is just make it so that when you get a star power or a gadget from a Starr Drop, it would prioritize brawlers that don't already have one. That's a really small change that would go a long way in giving me my full support to Starr Drops, because then I could just choose not to buy gadgets or star powers on certain brawlers, and then it would just give me a random one, which a lot of times is going to be perfectly fine. So we talked about where the resources have been redistributed to. Let's talk about where they were taken from. Progression from Club League was nerfed by 50%. That is an insane amount. And honestly, I completely understand why a lot of players are saying that they are no longer motivated to do Club League, right? That makes sense. But when it comes to the Club League nerfs, I actually disagree with a lot of people, okay? Progression in Club League before this nerf was absolutely insane. So insane, in fact, that you could cut it in half and it would still be really good. And that's exactly what happened. Club League rewards are not as good as they used to be, but they are still incredibly good. And you can do your Club League matches while you're farming wins to get your daily Starr Drops, while you're doing your quests, while you're progressing just normally. So don't stop doing your Club League matches just because the progression was nerfed. It's one of the most efficient ways to spend your time playing Brawl Stars if all you care about is just progression. Like if you only have an hour for the entire week, spend that hour doing Club League and you'll be really thankful that you did. But another reason why I think that it makes sense that the developers actually nerfed Club League is the fact that it was surprisingly unpopular. I don't have any specific numbers or anything like that, but I recall talking with Frank about it once, and it was shocking to hear how few players actually participated in Club League, even though the rewards were so good. So now the resources are being spread out to a lot more players, and you don't have to play Club League as more. You don't have to feel like you have to play Club League as much because those rewards are just getting added to your Starr Drops, which you're going to get just by getting wins. So overall, I'm pretty okay with the fact that they actually just took the resources from Club League and put them to Starr Drops, with an exception, which I'll talk about later. But I do feel very different about the end of season rewards. Here were the bonus rewards before the update: 145 gold, 42 power points, 25 credits. And here they are after the update. We have 65% less gold, 52% fewer power points, and 80% fewer credits. It's insane. But it wasn't really a nerf because they just moved these resources over to Starr Drops, kind of. It's not 100% true. And here's why. So they have to put a cutoff somewhere because not all players earn the same number of bonus rewards each season. In fact, not all players even complete every season. There are a lot of factors that determine how many bonus rewards you get every single season. Having the Brawl Pass means that you get Brawl Pass exclusive quests. Having token doublers means that you would get more as well. You'd literally get twice as many tokens from your daily tokens every single day. And obviously, how active you are is a major factor. So they set the cutoff at 50 bonus rewards, and they took the resources from those 50 bonus rewards and then added them to the Starr Drops that you would earn if you got all 3 Starr Drops every single day throughout the season. So what does this mean? It means that any number of bonus rewards that you would have gotten after 50, those resource nerfs did not get added into Starr Drops. The most rewards that I ever got on my free-to-play account when I did not have the Brawl Pass was 59 bonus rewards for the entire season. That's actually really close to the 50 reward cutoff, but when I did have the Brawl Pass, the maximum I got was 83 bonus rewards. So that means that I would have 43 bonus rewards that were directly nerfed because those resources were not moved to Starr Drops. That's 4,085 coins. That's 1,075 power points. That's 860 credits every season, which is almost enough to get an epic brawler. Now, I have to be fair here, okay? After moving the resources from these Starr Drops, they actually then buffed the resources in Starr Drops to help make up for it. And that's why it's actually a progression buff for everybody, even if you were super hyperactive. But the thing is, when you actually reach the end of the season, these rewards are tiny. These bonus rewards don't feel like bonus rewards. Look at this. This was a 2,000 gold drop, which, okay, that's like the best one in the game, but right, 70 credits, 240 power points, 640 gold right there. We're comparing this one little bonus reward to all of these other resources. It's not equal. It doesn't feel exciting. Once you reach the end of the season, it honestly just kind of feels like there's not much of a reason to try and get extra bonus rewards. I really liked the bonus rewards before this update because it really kind of felt like the season never really ended. Once you reach the end of the Brawl Pass, you would just rack up as many as you get, and every single one was rewarding. And now once you reach the end of the Brawl Pass, I wouldn't be surprised if the developer saw a big dip in activity until the next season because the bonus rewards feel just a lot less impactful. Now, you do still have your daily Starr Drops, which are exciting and a reason to continue playing, but the end of season just like, it's a little demotivating. And I personally don't think that Starr Drops make a big enough impact to really make up for the lackluster bonus rewards. Now, I'm making this sound really dramatic, but I could see players logging in to get their 1 Starr Drop and then maybe their 4-win Starr Drop, and then not really worrying about getting their 8-win Starr Drop because it's 4 extra wins. You've already played a little bit, like, you know, end of season, those bonus rewards just aren't quite as worth it. And I really hope this doesn't happen, and maybe it won't happen. I honestly don't know, but it does have me concerned for player retention through the whole season. And interestingly enough, this issue is going to be magnified by how common token doublers are in Starr Drops. I'm recording this in just some random day, and let's see how many Starr Drops I have on my free to play account, or token doublers, I mean. I've got 2,155 token doublers just today. Like, that means that I am going to reach these bonus rewards at the end of the season much faster than I would before this update when I didn't have token doublers because my tokens are literally getting doubled. In fact, I probably had more token doublers on my free-to-play account this update alone than the first 6 months of my entire account. And I really do love token doublers. At least I did before the update, because before the update, token doublers meant extra bonus rewards at the end of the season, which is awesome and exciting. But all they do for me now is get me to the end of the pass sooner, which results in more bonus rewards, which feel very lackluster now. So it's going to increase the amount of time that I'm at the end of the Brawl Pass, which is going to also increase the amount of time that I'm less motivated to actually play every single day because the end of the Brawl Pass bonus rewards aren't as good as they used to be. Now, there is a good chance that this change was intentional. Obviously, I'm super hyperactive, and most players probably don't even reach the end of the Brawl Pass. So maybe the goal here is to try and encourage them to continue playing throughout the entire season because they're missing most days, and it'll give them just a little bit of extra motivation to just push a little bit more because that 2,000 gold drop at the end is very nice. But personally, it just has me a little bit worried about the game's long-term retention. Hopefully Starr Drops do a good enough job at maintaining retention throughout the season because, you know, they are exciting, and much of your guys' feedback is that you guys have generally positive feelings about it. Up until this point, all I've really talked about is actual progression, okay? Gold, power points, unlocking new brawlers. But Starr Drops also had a massive impact on Bling and cosmetics. Look, I'm gonna give this to you straight. Supercell nerfs Bling in a way that I don't love as a personal player. In my opinion, the greatest thing about Bling was that you could unlock almost any cosmetic that you wanted, and the amount of choice that you get to choose which cosmetics you unlock has been decreased because this update, they nerfed the amount of Bling that you can get from each tier in Power League, and they cut it by a lot. They cut the Bling you get from each tier in half. Then what they did is they took that Bling and converted it to random cosmetics that you can now get inside of Starr Drops. And honestly, this has really big potential to be really cool. Like, what if you just got this Crowbone skin from a legendary Starr Drop one day? Like, this is a really dope skin. Same thing for Oni Otis. Like, if you got this, that would be super hype and would feel really cool and exciting. A lot of times though, you might just get like Outlaw Colt, which you have no desire to purchase because guess what? You might have a way cooler one like Bananas Colt that, you know, so I don't know. I feel like the whole point of cosmetics is to be able to express yourself the way that you want to. And when they added Bling into the game, I love that it gave free-to-play players more freedom in how they express themselves exactly how they want to, rather than how the RNG gods just like randomly give you a skin again that, I don't know, you might not ever use. Negative feedback regarding how Starr Drops affected bling and cosmetics is likely the most justified feedback I've seen, and it's definitely the most common, but I'm actually completely fine with these changes. Let me explain why. First of all, the nerf to bling is not nearly as bad as most people think. Yes, bling rewards from each Power League rank got cut in half, but that does not mean that our bling got cut in half. In fact, they made the Power League reset way less harsh than it was before the update, so it will now be easier for you to climb up in Power League ranks every single season and then earn more bling. Now, don't get me wrong here, okay? I'm not saying that it's going to be the same as it was before. It is still a nerf to bling in Power League, but it's not nearly as bad as some people are saying, okay? Power League is still very much worth playing, even if you're only playing it just for bling. That's a lot of free bling that you can use every single season to get cosmetics and skins that you want. The second reason why I'm fine with the bling nerf is because, in my opinion, the Brawl Stars developers have every right to adjust the price and availability of their cosmetics however they want. Obviously, it would be really jarring if they randomly increased the price of cosmetics, or if they removed bling from the game and said, hey, sorry guys, that was a mistake. We can't afford bling to be in the game, so you're gonna have to buy everything from now. The community would be really upset if that happened, but the great thing about cosmetics in Brawl Stars is that they have absolutely zero impact on your brawler power level. They don't change who wins, they don't change who loses, so even if I personally don't like the fact that we're getting less choice in cosmetics from Starr Drops, I'm just okay with it because I think the change makes sense. Honestly, when Starr Drops first came out, I was shocked that they were giving everybody so much freedom to unlock any cosmetic you want, pretty much. It was very generous of them, and they did so at a massive risk because there are actually very few cosmetics in the game that you cannot get for free now. But if they need to nerf the amount of free bling that we get and eliminate some of our choice in cosmetics by moving them into Starr Drops, I'm good with that. In fact, I'm great with that if it means we don't have to go through a similar update that Clash Royale did. Like, seriously. Now, up until everything that we've said so far, Starr Drops have been pretty like, meh for me, okay? I do think that they are really exciting and great for the average player who isn't super hardcore, or you know what, maybe even younger or something like that. I don't know. I've been playing this game for a super long time. I lived through Brawl boxes. Brawl boxes didn't even excite me when they were still in the game. So maybe I'm not like the right demographic here, but for me as an active player who has been playing for a long time, they're kind of just like fine. Like I would have been happy without them, but I am content with them. But there is another aspect of Starr Drops that is so annoying, like incredibly frustrating for me. And that's the content creator side of me, okay? Now I'm gonna start ranting here, okay? I'm sorry, I know this does not affect most of you guys, but I'm gonna rant. The fact that you can't stack Starr Drops and save them for a big opening sucks so much for making content. And honestly, I think Supercell's missing out on a massive opportunity to get free content on TikTok, on YouTube, Twitter. Threads is now a thing. You can follow me on Threads. But the point is, they are missing out on content all over social media because it's so annoying to record Starr Drops. As of right now, if I want to create content around Starr Drops for a video, I have to start recording right after my first match. Then I have to open up the Starr Drop. Then I have to stop recording, right? Then I have to get 3 more wins. Then I have to start recording again, open up the Starr Drop, then stop recording. Then I need to get 4 more wins, start recording, open up the Starr Drop, and then stop the recording. And that happens every single day. So not only is every single Starr Drop require its own individual video file, which is irritating to cut and sync together and stuff like that, but it is especially annoying to film because I love being in my office, but guess what? I don't live here. I mean, it's in my house, which I do live in, but sometimes I'm not in my office. Like, I want to go on a vacation. I want to not have to film every single day of my life 3 times a day. And yeah, I can try and record while I'm gone and stuff like that, but I don't want to bring my microphone. I certainly am not going to bring my computer here. And I have to screen record, and it's just like, it's so annoying because I have to be in my office whenever I'm ready to film. I can't just pick up the game whenever I like it. Like literally, sometimes I cannot play the game when I want to because I might get a win and like not get the right Starr Drop or not film it or like not get the reaction. Like what if it's a legendary Starr Drop and I miss out on filming a legendary Starr Drop on my free-to-play account because I wasn't in my office recording? It's so annoying. Okay, sorry, I know this is not a big deal for most of you guys watching this video. Like if you get a good Starr Drop and you want to share it with somebody, you could just screenshot it and it's not a big deal. But for me personally, it's putting such a damper on my daily life. It's so frustrating. So Supercell, please, I am begging you, please just let us stack some Starr Drops. And honestly, it would lead to more people actually recording Starr Drops and sharing the exciting ones. It's such a good idea. Like, please consider it. I know it sounds like I'm just complaining, and honestly, I can do hard things. It's fine. If I want to create content on Starr Drops, I can record 3 times a day. It's not a big deal. But the question is like, Why? Why can't we stack Starr Drops? I imagine that their hesitancy in allowing people to stack Starr Drops is the fact that when boxes were in the game, people would save up so many boxes that whenever a new brawler was released, everyone would unlock it on the same day because they would just open up hundreds of boxes until they got the newest brawler. I loved doing that. It was fun. Everybody loves doing that. But from a game development perspective, it kind of messed with things. It screwed things up. Not just from like the economy side of things and everybody having new brawlers, but also because of matchmaking. Like we all remember when the newest legendary brawler would come out and seriously, everybody was playing the newest legendary brawler. It wasn't the best system. Legendary brawlers are meant to feel rare and special for a reason. So I really do understand Supercell's hesitancy to allow us to stack Starr Drops, but oh man, I personally would love it if they did. And I'm not even asking for very much. All I want is to be able to save up 10 days worth of Starr Drops so that I can take 1 week off from recording, have a day off to prepare for my vacation, have a day off when I get back from my vacation, and then record all of them in just one go. That is a cap of 30 Starr Drops. 30 Starr Drops. That's hardly anything. Honestly, even better would be 100 Starr Drops. That's like a month of Starr Drops, but I think that 30 Starr Drops is very reasonable. You're not gonna get new brawlers in 30 Starr Drops. Like, it's barely going to ruin new brawler releases, hardly at all. First of all, half the new brawlers are chromatics, so they can't even release from Starr Drops. And second, the chance of getting a new brawler from 30 Starr Drops is insanely low, even for an epic brawler, right? Like, it's just unlikely to happen. It's so low, in fact, that it won't happen to anyone except for the most incredibly lucky players. And those incredibly lucky players, guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna film it. They're gonna share it with their friends. They're gonna be excited about it, and it's gonna promote hype, and everybody's gonna be like, oh man, that's really cool that you happen to get it from only 30 Starr Drops. That's insane. Likely, this would not impact the experience for most players. And honestly, I'm curious to know if you guys watching this video even care. So let me know. And honestly, please just let me know. If you're like, Kairos, I don't know what the big deal is. It's not a big deal. Just get over it. I'm fine with that comment. I really do want to know. But even if it's just for the content creators, I think it would be a great change. So please, Brawl Stars developers. Okay, that's my one major issue with Starr Drops. Let's go back to something that I wouldn't call major, but it's still something I would like to address. Anyone who watches my free-to-play series will know that I manipulate two systems in the game in order to convert power points into coins. I do this because, you know what? I don't always have the right gold to power point ratio, and sometimes I need more gold to make the upgrade I want, and other times I want more power points than I want. So I manipulate things a little bit in order to have just the right number of resources of whatever I want to upgrade brawlers how I want. Now, in order for me to do this, two systems are required. Those two systems were club coins from Club League and the end of season bonus rewards, both of which got nerfed a lot. So after this update, I can't convert nearly as many power points to gold as I want to, which it's annoying, okay? Now I say only mildly annoying because you can still convert power points into coins by not claiming power point rewards in the Brawl Pass, but it takes 3 seasons or 6 months in order for those to actually get converted to coins. I recognize here that I am abusing systems and loopholes that really are not intended by the developers, and the vast majority of players don't understand why it works. They don't know how to make it work, and out of the few people who do know, many of them choose not to because it's just annoying. And honestly, if I were doing a whole series on maxing an account as fast as possible, I wouldn't care to do it either. But I do. And a lot of you guys do because you're free-to-play players and you want to max out your account as fast as possible as well. But to anybody else, what you would typically do is just spend your club coins on whatever you need in the moment. And you know what? A lot of the time that's going to be coins. But the whole reason why I have avoided buying coins in the club shop is because buying power points offers 20% more progression value than buying coins, which is just annoying. I've said this before, 25%. I've actually been corrected on the math. It's kind of confusing, but because of how percentages work, buying gold provides 25% less value than buying power points, but buying power points provides 33% more value than buying gold. In other words, the gold values in the club shop need to be buffed not just 25%, but 33%. And that's just for these resource rewards, power points and gold, for those values to be equal. So Supercell nerfed both the club shop and the end of season rewards, which are the method for converting power points to coins. So that's way less effective than it used to be. So now it's even more dumb that it's better to spend club coins on power points because you can't convert as many as you could in the previous season. I I think this is like the 10th time I've brought this issue up in a video, and I'm so sorry for mentioning it so many times, but the club shop costs make no sense to me. Since the day power points were introduced in the game way back in beta, it was like one of the first major changes they added into the game, they have always converted to coins at a ratio of 1 power point to 2 coins, and vice versa, 2 coins to 1 power point. So power points are 2 times as valuable as coins, but in the club shop, power points only cost 1.5 times as much as coins, making PowerPoint offers the obvious choice because you are missing out on progression if you buy coins with club coins. So the simplest solution is to just make things consistent and buff the club shop coin value by 33%. Plus Club League just got nerfed and people are complaining that it's not worth it as much since they're not playing it as much. Now would be a great time to buff it. It's like, hey, we heard you guys, we're buffing it. 33%, there you go, here's your 33% buff. It should have been 33% more the whole time, but people would think it's 33% more, which would be like, oh cool, I'm gonna play Club League again. Anyway, I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna move on. It's done, I'm moving on. I have talked about a lot of the issues with Starr Drops up until this point. I think that it is fair for me to address some of the positives, and this section's gonna be a lot shorter. The number one positive with Starr Drops is that they are exciting. They add a little randomness into progression, and that gets players excited about the game. Most of the time, they're just gonna provide resources, right? But whenever you get a mythic or a legendary Starr Drop, you're like, oh, hold on guys, let's see what this is. And it gets you really excited about the possibility of a great reward. And sometimes it turns out to be really lame, but lame drops also kind of add to the excitement. It's fun. It really is. What's more important is that there's even more reason to actively play every single day. At least it's a solid goal for you to get 8 wins every single day. And my bet is that it has increased daily play rates a lot for many players, at least initially. And that's really a good thing. Sure, it can be kind of annoying to really try and force some wins out, especially if you're like playing a brawler that you got a quest for and that brawler kind of sucks and you're trying to get wins and it takes like, 15 matches because your randoms suck and it's not you for sure. But you can usually hop on brawlers with lower trophies or even just go into the map maker for a stress-free push if you'd really like. For me personally, I actually find myself playing with friends and clubmates a lot more because I know I'm likely to get some quick wins with good players. And honestly, it kind of feels like the perfect reason to encourage me to play with other players. That's a really good thing. Very few things in the game have made me want to actually play with other players because I've just kind of always been a solo player. So this is a really good thing. And there's another really massive positive that Starr Drops bring to the game that we haven't talked about. Despite all of my issues with them and comparing it to previous progression systems, I genuinely think that it makes the game more exciting for returning players and, more importantly, new players. That really matters. If we don't care about new player progression, they'll never reach endgame, and endgame will just get stale for all of us that have been playing for years. I can talk about all the ways the progression has changed or that we now have a little bit less choice, but mostly I'm super thankful for the way that Brawl Stars has completely opened up the progression system so that we can now choose how we can progress and choose which cosmetics we get for free. They've done an amazing job with that. Do you remember when we had power points be assigned to specific brawlers and you couldn't upgrade any of your brawlers because you didn't have enough power points even though you had stacks of gold? That was weird. It was whack. We have way more choice now because progression was so much random back then. I can hardly blame Brawl Stars for like backtracking a little bit and just being like, let's just make progression a little bit more exciting and remove a little bit of choice just for these new players. I think that's a really good thing. I think it is a good change for the future. Honestly, that is the main reason why I think the Starr Drop should remain in the game. But the question is, how would I rate this update? And it's really tough because there are so many things about Starr Drops that I'm not 100% happy with. And there are some things they could do to really get me behind Starr Drops. If they made it so that getting new star powers and new gadgets from Starr Drops would prioritize unlocking on brawlers that don't have a star power or gadget, or if it even just gave us a fat stack of coins, or you know what would be really cool? If it pops up, it's like, hey, you want a free gadget. Pick from one of these 3 that you get to choose to unlock on your brawlers. That would be so dope. That would be really fun. It would like be random, but at the same time would feel like you have choice and would make it incredibly exciting because anyway, I'm not gonna move on. That'd be cool. Another thing that I would like a little bit more about Starr Drops is if they decrease the chance to get token doublers from Starr Drops, so you just don't get quite as much, and in turn buffed the end of season bonus rewards to make up for it. That way you would get fewer end of season bonus rewards, but each end of season bonus reward would feel a little bit more worth it, right? That would address some of my concerns with season long retention for players. I've already mentioned buffing coins in Club Shop by 33%. I think I said the same thing like 100 times, but I gotta mention it because even though I've mentioned it a lot before, they still haven't changed it. And my final thing that I really want them to do is just let us stack Starr Drops. A limit of 30. That's all I'm asking for. There's a lot of things that I don't like about Starr Drops, but I can't ignore the fact that most of my concerns with Starr Drops really don't apply to new players. And I also can't ignore that they did ensure that everyone is getting a progression buff from Starr Drops. Even if it's only 2% for the absolute most hardcore players and scales all the way up to 35%. I don't remember the number. Don't quote me on that. I've said it before. Anyway, it's not important. A buff is a buff, and that is a massive W on their part, right? Like that, you can't ignore that. It got buffed, progression's faster. That's awesome. The whole concept, honestly, of Starr Drops was also done very well. From the fact, like, I like tapping it and then increasing the rarity. It makes you excited to open up Starr Drops. And I really think that the Brawl Stars team deserves some props for their work. It's a cool feature. And it's really unique in comparison to a lot of other systems that I've seen in other games. They've done a great job. There's so many pros and cons to Starr Drops all over the place, what kind of player you are and stuff, that the only way for me to rate this update fairly is to do so in 3 different ways. And so I'm going to do that. 3 different ratings and then an overall rating. The first rating is for brand new players who haven't experienced the game before. For new players, this update's a solid 9 out of 10. It's a great way to increase the excitement of progression without removing too much choice in the game. The second way I'm going to rate this update is for me personally as a super active player. Since the progression buff is so minimal on my part and I lost a fair bit of choice compared to that 2% progression buff, I've got to give this update a 7 out of 10 at the most. I didn't feel like this change was really made for me as a hyperactive player, which I'm fine with that. I really am. I'm actually super good with them adding updates that are geared towards different players, especially more casual players. And honestly, one thing I do like about Starr Drops is that it has gotten me more excited about playing every single day. Daily grind, more enjoyable for me personally. The third way I'm going to rate this update is as a content creator. As a content creator, Starr Drops have absolutely massive potential to be amazing, but the fact that they can't be stacked up at all, it's such a hindrance to content production. They're honestly a major burden on my personal quality of life. I can't ignore that. It sucks. It really does. And I want to give them a 1 out of 10 as a content creator because of how annoying they are to record and how much of an impact it has on my daily life. But I also recognize that even though they are frustrating to create content on, the content will result in good viewership and lots of engagement. I also really do appreciate that Supercell let me film Starr Drop openings on their developer build, because that's actually a really easy way to create content on them, and they didn't have to let us do that, so that's really awesome. So despite how annoying I think they are to film, I think that a score of 5 out of 10 is fair as a content creator. Now, if I were to average all of those scores together, this update would get a 7 out of 10, but I don't think that that's really fair either. Because honestly, I don't think the content creation score should really have that much weight to it, because it's not important to 99.9% of players, unless you guys really want Starr Drops to stack, so let me know if you do. But overall, I give this update an 8 out of 10. Despite all of my frustrations and minor annoyances with Starr Drops, I actually think they're a really good thing for the game. I want progression to feel more exciting for new and returning players, and I really like that it encourages players to stay active every single day, even if their quests are already done. So, despite my long list of ways that I want Starr Drops to be improved, all of the reasons why there's things wrong with Starr Drops, I do think they should stay in the game. I really want to know what you guys think about Starr Drops in this update though, so let me know in the comment section below, and please be honest with your feedback. Rate it from 1 to 10 for you specifically, you personally. Also, make sure you guys subscribe for future content. You can do so right here, and you can watch other content right here. For now, this is KairosTime ticking by. We will see you in Brawl Stars.